Today we are talking about hypertension, also known as high blood pressure. Approximately 50% of adult men and 44% of adult women in the US have high blood pressure, so it's safe to call this disease a common disease. To give you an idea of how the US ranks in comparison to other countries, I looked up some statistics. And based on a study by the World Health Organization in 2019, the USA had approximately 47% of the adult population with hypertension. To give you an idea of how that ranks, the lowest countries in the world were Switzerland, Peru, and Canada at about 20% of their population. And believe it or not, the highest rates were in Paraguay in South America, which is about 56%, and some countries in Central and Eastern Europe, like Hungary, Poland, and Lithuania, all having between 40 and 60% prevalence of hypertension in their countries. So across the world, men are actually at higher risk than women, and that does align with the US statistics as well. So let's talk about what causes hypertension. The most common cause is diabetes. This is because of insulin resistance. Insulin resistance stops blood vessels from relaxing. So you have these very rigid, narrow blood vessels that restrict blood flow, causing high blood pressure to rise and remain high. Diabetes and hypertension, really, they often do go hand in hand. In fact, 2 out of 3 people living with diabetes also report having high blood pressure. So that is a very common cause. Another cause of high blood pressure is high sodium or salt intake. Studies have repeatedly shown that people with high salt intake have higher blood pressure. This is thought to be because of stiffening of the arteries, impaired functioning of the arterial walls that are supposed to be able to expand and contract, and then also just a general decreased elasticity of those arteries. This is why most medical professionals usually recommend cutting out salt for people who have high blood pressure. And of course, there are many other causes of hypertension as well. Conditions like COPD, which stands for chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, cystic fibrosis, or living at a really high altitude actually can put you at risk for hypertension because all of these conditions, essentially, they all cause hypoxia. Which is a lack of oxygen. So that causes the blood pressure in the arteries around the lungs to rise. It's like the body senses that it's not getting enough oxygen, so it increases the blood pressure to pump more oxygen-rich blood to that area. Another cause may even be poor diet and not enough exercise. And that's actually going to be probably the most common diagnosis that comes from a doctor because, truthfully, a lot is still unknown about hypertension. And there can be multiple factors at play that cause someone to demonstrate having increased high blood pressure. So a doctor tells you to start eating better, to exercise, to lose some weight, and then they also go, here, take this medication, and you leave with this very vague plan and a bottle of pills. And whether you decide to try and take action and eat healthy and exercise or not, it's totally up to you, but you will likely take the medication if you picked up the prescription, right? But what if the doctor really took time to dive into what potentially caused your high blood pressure in the first place? What if you could have a specific plan to solve the root cause of the problem, the actual cause of your hypertension, and avoid having to take the medication altogether? I know that not everyone dislikes medication, and I'm not saying it isn't helpful in some circumstances, but blood pressure medication has quite a few varied side effects that need to be brought to the attention of the person who's going to use the medication. The side effects will vary, obviously, based on the type of medication that you're taking, but most commonly, reported side effects include things like a cough, having intestinal issues like diarrhea or constipation, having dizziness or lightheadedness, erectile dysfunction in males, and then like weight fluctuations and feeling weak or kind of an overwhelming sense of nervousness. So what if there was a way to help lower your blood pressure without taking medications? Something more specific than a doctor's prescription to eat better. I'm going to give you 4 things to start including in your daily routine that have been proven to lower blood pressure. The first is actually potassium. So potassium is used in the body to control how much fluid is inside your cells. And since we know that high sodium levels cause water retention, and that tends to increase blood pressure, it makes sense that a low potassium diet would lead to fluid and sodium imbalances and then obviously causing high blood pressure. So the first thing to do is increase your potassium intake. Top 2 sources of potassium are everyone's favorite. The banana has about 400 milligrams of potassium. Also a baked potato. If you eat a baked potato with the skin, that gives you about 900 milligrams of potassium. And adults are recommended to get over 3,000 milligrams a day of potassium. Unfortunately, supplements are not usually high enough to have much of an impact unless you were to take like a whole handful every day. So do a little research, find out foods that you like or that will fit into your daily lifestyle that are high in potassium, and start consuming them regularly. Next up, garlic. So garlic is actually a natural ACE inhibitor, which is a type of blood pressure medication. Garlic increases something called nitric oxide in your body. And nitric oxide is a molecule that's found throughout our body, and it's crucial for blood vessel health. It's what's called a vasodilator, meaning it relaxes the muscles inside your blood vessels, and this causes the blood vessels to widen. And so that means that nitric oxide in garlic will increase blood flow and lower your blood pressure. Another food you can eat that relaxes the arteries is celery. And I know it's not everyone's favorite, but celery contains a phytonutrient that's proven to have blood pressure benefits. Some people try taking celery seed in oil form or in supplement form, but it's not shown to be as potent as just eating the real thing. So try and get 1 cup a day, and that's about 4 stalks, and it can have really great benefits for your blood pressure. My next recommendation is actually a supplement. It's called Tocotrienol. And a tocotrienol is part of the vitamin E family. It's an antioxidant that is truthfully not commonly found in nature. It's in very few oils and grains, but it's in very small amounts. And it's not going to be an efficient way for us to actually consume it by eating those things that it is contained in. But it has proven to improve heart health for a few different reasons. First, it's an antioxidant, so it acts as a natural blood cleaner to reduce free radicals like dead cells and cell debris that needs to be removed before they can cause damage or inflammation. This tocotrienol also reduces the level of bad cholesterol in our blood. And as an added bonus, because of its antioxidant properties, it reduces the risk and the effects of some cancers. Again, you can't really find it in many foods, but there are plenty of supplements out there that you could try. So if you suffer from high blood pressure or you want to make sure your blood pressure stays within normal levels, I would first begin by increasing potassium intake. Then look into garlic, try increasing your celery intake, and allow that to relax and widen your arteries. And then finally, tocotrienol. That supplement could also be a great addition to your daily routine to keep blood pressure levels under control. I hope this helps you in your journey to better health. Let me know if you've ever tried any of them and if you've seen any positive results from it. I would love to hear about it. Until next time, everyone, be well, and I will see you soon.